Hello, I'm Peter Dunsmore and welcome to this series where I'm going to show you some basic veneering techniques. You can enhance a piece of furniture with an inlay of some kind. Now, you can purchase these inlays from marquetry suppliers such as craft supplies, and these come ready-made. Alternatively, you could make your own, and these are a couple I've made for a table I'm making. They're fitting on the legs, and this is a piece of rosewood set into some mahogany, and then this will be stuck onto the flat piece of the leg. Now I'll show you in a minute how to make something similar to this very quickly and very easily, and yet be quite effective. In this case, I'm going to make a simple circle. This is a piece of burr, and we're going to inlay that into this piece of cherry. Now, I happen to have this circle lying in the workshop. It's just a piece of perspex off some gadget or other that's been lying around, and it's ideal to use. So I'll hold this down nice and flat, and I'll run a nice sharp blade and just hold the plastic firmly down. If I'm making repeat patterns for something, then I'll make a MDF template or something similar, which I can repeat. There we go. And there's a circular piece of walnut burr. Now we've got to cut the same circle in the cherry. It's easier cutting with the grain. When you cut across the grain, you've just got to cut a little bit firmer just to cut through the fibres. There you go. And there's a hole. And that really is the simplest form of inlay. And what I do then is get a little piece of veneer tape. Don't use masking tape, because when you press it down, the masking tape sticks to the veneer and won't come off. Use a veneer tape because you just damp it and it peels off, leaving no residue, and it doesn't stain the veneers. There you go, held in place. And what you do now is you can use this as you want. Stick it on the piece of furniture or whatever you're making. But if there is any very slight indiscrepancy with the cutting, you'll find the water-based glue will swell the veneer anyway, close any gaps up, and you'll end up with a really first-class fit. This is taking it one step further. I'm going to make a little rectangle, but perhaps I want to make 2 or 3 of them, so I'll make a wee cardboard template. So I'll position this onto the burr. And then I'll cut the piece out. Sometimes it's worth looking at the patterns on the burr, because there's a particular feature, there's a particular knot you think might, oh, that looks nice there, or there might be a really bad split on it. You say, I'll avoid that piece. So really you can have a good look at the wood and aim to make a feature of it. There we are. But what I plan to do with this one is to put a little piece of stringing around the perimeter. So what I'll do, you can glue it on, or you can use just tape. I prefer just to put a little bit of adhesive on the side. Butt that up to it. Now, there you go. Square the end. You'll notice that the first piece I had is a little bit long, but that doesn't matter. So what you do is you butt the second piece up to your first one, and then get a little bit of veneer tape. Veneer tape grips quite quickly, it dries quite quickly. Square the end. Finally put the fourth side on. A little bit of glue. Put the veneer tape on. Already it's gripping quite well, mainly because of the veneer tape holds it nicely in place, but the adhesive just adds a little bit more. There you go. I think we need some on this end here where it's coming off. A little bit here. Pop it down. And that's... there you've got your banding surrounding the veneer. All we need to do now is trim the end pieces off, and I use a sharp chisel for that. Just trim these nice and square here. All the way around. There we go. And what I would do is, before I actually fit this in place, I would let this dry just for a few moments. And there's the completed burr inlay with the stringing around it. All I've done is trim the veneer tape off. Now we can't use a cardboard template to cut the hole for this, because obviously it's slightly bigger with the stringing. So what I do, very, very similar to this, you hold the pattern down and then you mark around the perimeter with a blade very carefully. And it's comforting to know that the water-based adhesive will actually swell the wood anyway, so even if it's a slightly loose fit, don't worry about it, because the wood will swell with the glue anyway, and in any case nobody would notice. Just aim to get the knife as close as you can to the edge of the stringing and do 2 or 3 passes with the knife. That's marked it clearly. Now just pop the waste out. Okay, there's your inlay, there's the opening. Just pop it in place. Now this is the face side up. This is the face that will be on top on whatever you decide to put it on. So a little bit of veneer tape to hold it down. So the stringing will be proud. There you go. Leaving the flat side to be stuck to the plywood or whatever the piece of furniture is you're making. And now with this glued down properly with the veneer tape, it's quite a good idea to peel this off. Just damp it with your finger or just a paintbrush, a little bit of water, peel it away before you actually stick it onto whatever you're making. Allow it to dry thoroughly before sanding it flush, and then you end up with a simple burr inlay with a nice boxwood stringing perimeter.